Well, welcome back. Thanks for joining us this morning. Barnaby Joyce won't download the government COVID-19 app over privacy concerns. That's despite a push from Prime Minister Scott Morrison, who reportedly sent an email to MPs reminding them we need to get people signing up. We all have a role to play here, and the app is an important tool to help Australia return to normal.
Right, well, let's get today's take on this with Shelley Horton from mindhoney.com.au and comedian Vince Sorrenti. Shelley, look, here's the thing about the app. You know what, when we lean into stuff like this and about tracking and things like that, I think, well, if it's going to help, I'm happy to help, but I think the messaging of this app, once again, was very confused. If you don't download the app, things won't return to normal, kind of threatening messaging. And now you've got your own sort of, benches there, like, Joyce, turning around saying, well, I don't want the government knowing anything about me.
Oh, look, this is just another example of an older man not understanding technology. This is not about giving our privacy to the government. This is about saving lives. We are in lockdown. This is about when you download the app, it will then register other people who've downloaded the app. And if you're within 1.5 metres of someone who has the coronavirus, you will be notified and you'll be able to get tested. It could save your life. This is not about bank details. This is not about, it doesn't even geolocate. I mean, this is ridiculous from Barnaby, and it's fine for him to say that on his bloody farm. I'm in a 2-bedroom apartment in Sydney and I don't even have a balcony, so I'd really like to flatten this curve so we can get back to normal, and him just causing trouble is driving me crazy.
Oh, Shelley.
Shelley hasn't been out for a while, guys, and look at that angry face there.
Someone needs to get out a little more.
Yeah.
But she can't, Vince. But I think, Vince, they're saying that 40% of Australians need to use this app for it to be useful. So should Barnaby be supporting his own government, encouraging people to download it?
Look, a lot of people are very sensitive about privacy issues, a lot of Australians. I can understand sort of why Barnaby's got a particular issue with privacy. He's had a lot of unwelcomed intrusions into his private life over the last few years. But, this app, I believe all the safeguards the government is giving us. I think a lot of people will take it up. I think it's not a geo-placing app. It just tells you who you're near, that's all, and they're going to destroy all the data, so they're telling us. But there always will be people who are suspicious of that kind of intrusion. I think the government's talking about a 40% increase, 40% take-up. I think it'll be double that. I honestly think most Aussies will want to do their bit to stop this virus. I reckon 80% of people will take this up, hands down.
All right. Well,
I will be, for sure.
All right, well, let's move on now. The coronavirus has prompted a spike in the number of people thinking about life after death. That's not what you think I'm saying here. Finder has reported a 127% spike in traffic to their website, with people wanting to know how to write a will. Vince, are you all locked up and ready to go with your will?
Yeah, I've got my will done, but I did that years ago. Look, if you haven't done your will and you're married and got kids or whatever, if you're an adult, you haven't got a will, then, you've got to have a will. It's it's mandatory.
Yeah, Belinda, you've got to get on to that.
I was wondering what he was about to say. You're an idiot, because I'm sorry, I've got to be honest here, and I know it's really bad, but we don't have one.
Look, I had to be pushed. My accountant, everyone pushed me. You've got to get a will. It took me years, but I finally did it. Can we get a bit less morbid? I mean, like last year, several hundred Australians won the lottery. 70 people have died of the coronavirus, tragically. You've got more chance of being a multi-millionaire than of dying of the virus. So let's get happy, people.
Shelley, you've got to have a will ready to go, otherwise someone will take your millions that you've just won. 70% of Aussies don't have a legal will, Shelley.
Okay, Belinda, I've got a confession as well.
No.
I have a will now, but I only actually updated my will last year. So my original will still left everything to my ex-husband, who I divorced 15 years ago.
What?
And it was only that I updated it. I've been remarried for 5 years, only updated it. I think it was like November last year. So I'm going to go easy on Belinda, because I understand it's one of those things that sometimes you forget to do. But now I'm very pleased that he's not going to be getting my cash.
Yeah,
right.
It's on the list, that long list of things to do.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Oh, actually, you're going to stick around with this. When we come back, as if isolation isn't already hard enough, we're being made to feel guilty about one thing in particular. Stick with us. We'll be back in just a moment. All right, no excuses. They are the two words one journo wants banned during lockdown. James Weir is sick of being made to feel guilty by fitfluencers for not using his time in isolation to exercise. Motivational bloggers are also using social media to tell us to start meal prepping and begin that hobby and launch that side hustle or take advantage of that free online course because no excuses.
Yeah, but for some reason I'm just tired. Shelley Horton and Vince Sereni are here just to discuss this now. I mean, this is the thing, Shelley. We've got all this time on our hands in isolations, and I get it. You should be, using it and trying to be more constructive with your time, but also, I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm honestly like, you know what? It's about getting through it. So if you haven't, learnt a new exercise routine, learned how to make sourdough bread, and now, can speak French, that's okay. If you look after your mental health, you'll be fine. We will get through this. The only thing I'm worried about is that COVID-19 is actually going to stand for the 19 kilos I'm going to put on. So I might do a little bit of movement, but that's about it. So please just be kind to yourself.
I'm hearing you, Shelley. Vince, do you still give excuses to get out of doing things even in isolation?
No. Listen, are we having fun yet? I agree with Shelley. We've got to get through this. We're all going to be putting on weight, let me tell you. I think the big winner out of this is going to be Jenny Craig at the end of it. But look, this is a time for just not having to worry about that sort of stuff. Australia, listen. Sit down in front of the TV in your tracky dacks, put on your favourite Netflix show and eat a box of Krispy Kreme donuts. Oh, yeah. No excuses.
Yeah, well, the other problem is drinking, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man, yes.
And now there's a virtual wine tasting classes that are now a thing. Adelaide's National Wine Centre is bringing some of the region's tastiest booze to your home. All participants will receive 6 50ml test tubes tasting packs before the winery hosts a masterclass on the video conferencing app Zoom. Vince, what do you think about that one?
I think this is not a bad idea, but, it's really hard to be a wine wanker when you're sitting there in your jammies on the couch, Oh, darling, I'm tasting some stone fruit hints in this shardy. Why don't you clean out the garbage, you wino?
Just drink the whole bottle.
Shelley, what do you reckon? Would you try this out?
Yeah, I love this. This is the sort of learning that I'm all up for. And I love that the wine industry has done a pivot because honestly, normally it's I drink the wine and then I do the pivot. So it's about, I think we're all working together.
Love it. Okay, well.
All right, thanks, team. Go on to Facebook and Twitter and let us know what you think about this.
Okay, coming up on Today Extra,